if we look at the data that we have for species, for other plant species, well, other animals and plants indeed, they typically have small or very small genomes, and species with bigger genomes are really the exception rather than the rule. But this plant, this fern, has just sort of pushed that limit right to the edge, we think. We're probably at the really extremes of what biology can do.
So does it mean that this plant, the tiny fern, can survive climate change and biodiversity challenges?
Well, yeah, I think the answer is no, because species with bigger genomes, every time they want to divide their cells in order to replicate and grow, it takes them much longer, so they're much more slowly growing. And that means that, you know, in an environment which is changing rapidly, such as under climate change or with land use change giving rise to, for example, biodiversity loss, as you mentioned, they really are less adaptable. They're more constrained in the sort of ecological opportunities that they can take. And so, yes, I do believe that this species, although it hasn't been assessed for its extinction risk, is going to be certainly pushing on the edge of being unlikely to be able to survive huge changes in the environment.
What else can we learn by studying the tiny fern, by studying its DNA?
We really need to understand what's going on, what's going on across the whole spectrum of genome size diversity, which in plants is really immense. Just to say that plants vary nearly 2,400-fold in the amount of DNA they have in each cell, which is much greater than any other group of comparable group of organisms. So there are some species which have, for example, 50 times less DNA in each of their cells than we do in the human genome. And then this plant has got over 50 times as much DNA in each of its cells. So it really questions, you know, how does biology work with that huge morass of DNA? How does it function? How does it package it all into the cell?
And what does the discovery mean to us human beings and the world?
It means that we really need to understand how genomes across the full diversity of plants operate, because plants are really important for us. You know, we perhaps underestimate their value. They provide the oxygen we breathe, the food that we eat. Of course, they provide many of the clothes. And yet it's been estimated that, say, 45% of flowering plants are at risk of extinction. So really, if we want to preserve and maintain the planet as it is, as not only for humanity, but for all life on Earth, we've got to protect them. And by understanding the different factors that affect the survival of a plant will be important in designing what the appropriate conservation strategies are that we adopt in order to conserve plants.